Hi, welcome to the coaching game. And it must be Tuesday because Miss Yoffe is back with us.
Yeah,
Yay.
I am, and it's Coaches Creating Change. Terry Yoffe here, and Laurie and I are looking to talk about creating change, which is actually the name of my podcast to
Isn't
an
you copied
extent.
off us, really?
No, I don't think so. But, I think that when we think about creating change, I've been doing it all my life, I think, and certainly with myself, I think with you, I keep changing all the time how I look, how I dress, how I think.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing that, then you are not keeping up with the times.
Absolutely. And I'm going to give a little tribute to Halloween in addition to my orange shirt.
Oh,
And
wow.
just say it's kind of like unmasking or peeling an onion, but
Oh,
taking off your mask, and then, oh, this is a mask too. But it's okay because with that comes the wisdom and the little itchiness that says, oh, maybe there's something else under there, And yeah, but I think, Terry, you mentioned that you were seeing some of your friends from your cohorts from long, long ago. In the advertising world making some switches, and that's kind of what got us thinking about this topic.
I think, yes, it's very interesting. As us, a lot of people that I have seen from my time in the advertising world or whatever I did before, they are popping up in real estate. Everyone is in real estate. Or I noticed a few people went to become coaches.
Yeah, yeah.
So my Michael Clinton wrote a great book, Roar into the Second Half of Your Life,
Mhm.
before it's too late. And he really talks about ageism being obsolete, that people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s are creating change or doing things. And that warms my heart because it's you know when one gets to be in their 60s or 70s or whatever, when you read the paper, this elderly person, right, or this very old person, and it's offensive.
Yes, it's and it's more and more. It's like, well, this is a little gruesome, but when you see, like, I love the CBS show on Sunday morning. I think it's called CBS Sunday Morning, but they do a memoriam to people who have passed away, and it's like the people are in their 90s, and it's like, okay, and they were very productive until then. So I think I'd love to think that ageism is would you say obsolete? That would be fantastic. But yeah, I think people that are within the realm of, well, I mean, AARP calls you elderly
Yeah,
at 50, for God's sake. Uh,
right.
but people who are within that realm are saying, okay, but I'm not ready to quit. I've got stuff I want to do, And if they played it the way we were told to play it, then they worked at a job their whole life, they retired. And now it's like, oh, now it's my time. Now I want to do what I want to do. Yeah, I see that trend also, and and you and I are perfect examples of that. Not elderly, but
At all.
just changing. Yeah, I mean, you did the whole corporate world. I did the corporate world in the nonprofit, and it was like, yeah, there's more. There's more that I want to do. Not that you didn't love your job, but there's just more. So,
And you don't know. I'm sorry, my tongue is red because I just sucked on a candy. My mouth is dry. And I left the corporate world and started my own business.
mhm.
So I was an entrepreneur in the sales world for a long time until I wasn't. And then I had to figure out, what did I want to do? I didn't want to go the retirement route. I don't golf, I don't play pickleball, I don't play I mean, I don't do any of that. So, and I dug into my past. And because I was in therapy and analysis for so long, I was going to go back to school and become a therapist, until I realized it's too much schooling. So I had to go on a path to find out, what did I want to do. And I found coaching. I said, oh, okay. And there you are.
Yeah, there you are. And it's yeah, and I think that that's exactly, it's so funny that we took the same path really. And started doing the same thing. It was, yeah, I'd gotten to the top and it was like, okay, I don't like this. Let me go start my own business.
Mm.
And luckily I had a partner who helped me do that. And then it was like, oh, there's still more. There's still more to carry on with. So yeah, and that was when coaching came around. And I had no idea what that was. It was just like, oh, this sounds like I started it totally selfishly, really. This was like I started it uh for my own good. I didn't want to help other people. I just wanted to get my stuff together, you know? And so it was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. And then after a while, it was like, oh, this is so cool. I gotta share this. I want everybody to do this, but I am playing with the clock because it just went to zero. So we have no idea how much time we have.
It's 2:10.
2:10. All right, we'll
Yeah,
go
we
with
have
that.
right. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to fix that. But anyway, so it's just funny, different paths, but we both ended up in the same place, which I think is fascinating. So,
Yeah, and it's for, everybody, anybody that is older and thinking of doing something, check out what's important to you, I think. What really calls you. It's not too late. I mean, last year I started a podcast. I knew nothing about it, but it seemed that, gee, in 2020, I started thinking about it. And in 21, I found someone to help me develop it, and it started last year. This little podcast that, you know, I just do it. I love it. It's a lot of work,
mhm.
but it's kind of moved along pretty well, actually, better than I thought it would. And I will do it next year, but I think about, what's one last thing that I might consider doing. And what comes to mind is a TED Talk.
Ah.
I don't know, but that seems to be, if I had one thing I really wanted to do,
Hmm.
other than the coaching and the podcasting, it is definitely getting something out there. As you get older, I think people forget we have so much life experience,
Really? Yeah.
so much wisdom that, after X years of working, you learn a lot, you see a lot.
Absolutely. What were some of the blocks that you had to overcome? Because I know you talked about doing a podcast for maybe a year and a half, and which means I know you were thinking about it, and it's like, oh, what were some of the things that you overcame? Because I think other people are out there going, oh, I could never do that, and we all do that. We all go, oh, I couldn't do that, but we overcome them. So what were some of your things?
You know, the reason that I think I could do it
Mhm.
was so we can go back to our bankable nuggets, as I call them, everything we learned in our past and take it forward. I I was in fashion. I got up and did fashion shows. So I was always in the public eye. And then when we joined ICF, we had a TV show,
Right.
right? The Coach's World, I think.
Yes, yes.
And every week, every other week, we interviewed somebody. So there, I already had the ability to interview people,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I had all of that. So when I started thinking about it, it opened up for me. You know, the universe said yes, and it opened up. I got to do some webinars, I got to do some podcasts, and I said, okay. And I met someone, and she was looking for coaching. I was looking for, so we helped each other, and she built my website for coaching, my whole site and everything. And by 2022, I was able to get going. And I've certainly finessed it. I've tweaked it, and I keep tweaking it. And I had great people last year. I have great people this year. And I'm always thinking about how can I improve it?
Mm-hmm.
How can I do better?
But I like that you put out there, you said, I put it out there. And it's kind of amazing. And it's like, it's almost saying like, okay, trust us because we're telling you that. But if you do put it out there, then the opportunity, you're opening up for the opportunities, and you're focusing on what could possibly help you get where you're going. But then it's just if you put it out there, there's going to be a response, and I don't understand how it works. It's blind faith, but it doesn't hurt to just say, you know what, this is really what I want to do, and I'm going to be open to any opportunity that comes my way.
It's the universe. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
That when you put something out there, and this is, I really needed somebody to work with me to
Mm-hmm.
really do all the marketing, the social media. I don't know how to put all that together, you know. And I said, okay, if I don't find someone, I'm going to have to give up podcasting because you can't do one without the other and do it effectively.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I asked people, one said go to Indeed, I didn't find anyone. Happenstancely, I met a woman on LinkedIn, Facebook. We got to talking. She wanted to get her coaching credentials. We talked about it. And I said to her, I'm looking for somebody. She comes back to me and says, I have somebody for you. And that's how I got my social media person. Now, if that's not,
The universe,
it
like
has
you
to
said.
be. That means that my podcast is meant to be. I
Yeah.
thought about, am I going to keep doing it? Am I not? And what's happened is I'm about to get to 2,500 downloads in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's something called Listen Notes that analyzes data for podcasts. And at this point, I'm in the top 3% globally of all podcasts, hoping by the end of the year to be at 2.5. This little podcast that I just started
Yeah.
and it's doing well. So you never know. And that's why I'm putting out the idea of a TED Talk.
Well, yeah, and I like that you said you never know, because it's like, just because, okay, that's what you wanted someone to do the technical part of it all, but don't make it has to be just that, because sometimes there's are curves that that if you see an opportunity and you feel it's going to help you, take that opportunity. You never know where it's going to lead, so it doesn't have to be quite. And I think there's something on Facebook, my idea of the road to success is like this, but the real road to success is twisty and turny and down and up, and so it's like, yeah, just be open to all opportunities, and
I
and
agree.
they will formulate and they will make sense. When I finished going in this traditional work mode and climbing that career ladder. And I looked at my resume and I went, good Lord, when is this all going to make sense? And there's so many diversified things. And sure enough, eventually it all came around and it's like, I can use this here and I can use that here and take a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I've never regretted it because I had fun doing all of that stuff. And don't worry about putting it together. It'll come together. Or,
It's,
you'll discard what you have to discard. Yeah.
and I I don't know how it works. I think but the thing is, you have to be open to and letting something in instead of saying, oh no, whatever it is as you get older. I always wanted to,
Yeah.
but never did it. Out of mostly fear, looking foolish, being vulnerable. Oh my God, what are people going to say? And you
Yeah.
know what? When I went into the podcasting, I said, if it works, it works. If it doesn't take away what I do as a coach.
Right. And if you don't try, it'll always be in the back of your head. Oh, I should have done that. I should have. Why didn't I do that? Or I could have. Yeah, what I do, because when I'll do some retirement coaching and things like that, and people go, I just don't know what to do now. I'm old. And it's like, I just say, go back to your childhood. What did you want to be? Did you want to, it could be absurd. It can be, did you want to be like a beauty queen contestant? Fine, you can't do that now. Can you sew costumes? Can you, can you stage things? Can you paint props? Whatever. It's just to be a part of it, to say, okay, I'm finally getting to do that. I've always said, oh, I'd love to play the piano. I don't have a piano, but I'm not too old. I could still do that if I wanted to. So that's on my list. It's like on a personal list. That's what I'd like to do. But just go back and say, okay, what do I feel like I missed, and try to pick it up and maybe in another
Mm,
format, and just believe that it can happen, and it does. It's really kind of weird, but it does.
yes. And I think for me, I was never really heard or listened to
Ah,
and acknowledged when I was
that
younger.
explains that podcast. All right.
But yes, it's wonderful. People leave great reviews on Apple Podcasts,
Mhm.
and it's very nice to know that you're doing something that in some way is helping create change from the
Yeah,
people you
yeah.
speak to, so that listeners maybe can do something, because we all really can create change in our corner of the world, as I say. And
Mhm.
whatever that is, I don't care if it's wanting to work in a soup kitchen, that's creating change, smiling at somebody. And I think too many people get caught up in, oh, I can't do that. Like I said, I would do that. What is it, and their mind talks them out of it, and they go, okay, I'll go, I don't know, walk the dog, or I'll,
Yeah.
whatever
Watch a
it is.
television show. I feel comfortable doing that. I'll sit on the sofa. Yeah, yeah.
Right, exactly.
And
So,
the beauty of it is that what I tell clients when they're having those doubts is like, forget about you. Just how is this going to help somebody else? Forget
mm,
about you. It's like, what if you deprive another person of what you're offering? How are you going to feel about that? So it's like, take yourself out of the equation. It's like,
what a
you've
great
got the
thing.
experience, that you've got the wisdom and the life lessons and all that, and just say, okay, how can I help somebody else with that? Forget about you. But it'll come back to you, and it'll be like, oh, that feels so good. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So, anyone listening, if you want to do something, go do it. Who cares? You're at an age where it doesn't matter anymore. Do for you. It's not like you're 12 or 15 or 20.
Right, I'm going to challenge that. It does matter. It does. It matters
Well,
maybe even more. But you're right. We
meaning
know how to
matter.
deal with. We know
Mhm.
how to deal with a little
Right,
bit of rejection
right.
or
You've
a
got
little
an
bit of
experience. You've
yeah,
got years of doing, and just go for it. I meant saying it doesn't matter. If it doesn't work out, that means something else will come along.
yeah.
Don't be afraid.
And the feeling that you get when it's like, well, if you can reach that point and where it's like, well, God, at least I tried, it's like rather because you feel lumpy and unsatisfied if you don't try. It's like, oh, I wish I could do that, but I can't. Just do it. Just go and
Right.
do it. And if you can't, you can't. That's okay. But at least you tried. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Whatever it is.
yeah, and I think that's what Terry and I are both trying to do with our broadcast and all of that. It's just like change. Everybody fears change. It's like, no, no, I don't want to mess that up. I got to go on good here. But everybody fears change, and it's like
Mhm.
change can be fun. Change can be exciting. Change, even if you don't get the result, it's like, wow, at least I got out of my comfort zone. And then again,
Right. That's it.
Facebook. I probably spend
Right.
too much time on Facebook, but it's like here's your comfort zone, and here's where life really begins and starts to be
Right.
zoomy. Just
Exactly.
fun. So
Right.
you got to step out every now and then, and think of all the things you've survived. You know how to survive rejection and skepticism and
Right. We've all been
negativity.
there.
Yeah, yeah, we that's part of our wisdom. So yeah, we're trying to get people to change and at the same time we're realizing that we're changing too. It's our priorities, my priorities have changed. I'll speak for myself. Yours have too, I'm sure. And it's okay. It's all right. It doesn't mean because you wanted to do this so bad last year and now you don't. It's all right, you know.
And I think that as coaches, when you change, you are so more available to your client. When
Yeah,
you've opened up where, you know, you can talk about anything and you have different perspectives. Oh, you can offer clients so much more when your lens is wide open rather than having it half open.
right.
So, certainly for coaches, the more you're able to turn your eyes inward and make your own changes and look at those places that are dusty and dark and kind of clean them out, the more available you are on so many levels.
Good point. Good point. And when that's the beauty of coaching, though. There is no strict format. It's like we must do this and then this
Mm,
happens. It's like you base it on each individual. It's an individual program, so to speak, or an individual partnership. I like that
mhm,
partnership
mhm,
with
mhm.
people, and you bring to the table whatever you have, and you're going to find out that your clients are going to bring to the table what they have, and sometimes that can be very eye-opening for you as a coach. It's like, oh my gosh, I never thought about it that way, but that's a good viewpoint too. So yeah, it's mutually beneficial, and you can do that, and you don't have to affiliate with coaches. You can do that with individuals, just
Right, right,
make contacts,
absolutely,
make
right,
connections. Yeah,
right. I think the more open you are, the more available you are to others and a connection that
yeah,
people feel safe
yes, yes,
around you.
yeah. And I think, and we're not going to get into that, of course, but in times like this that are so
Mm,
troubling, it's really good to be grounded. It's like, okay, I know how I feel about this, and if I can help somebody on an individual basis, I'm going to do that. And if I can make them change their viewpoint to expand, and I'm going to do that. One person at a time. That's the coaching model, changing the world one person at a
right,
time. And
exactly.
sometimes that person is you.
Mm,
You need to change yourself too.
right,
So
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
So, I guess what we're saying is in our last minute here, maybe, I
Mm,
don't know how long this show is. We're good. It's going to be interesting to see. But I guess what we're saying is, trust, put it out there and trust the universe, whatever that means to you. Trust the universe and see.
Trust yourself.
Yeah, yeah, even more
Uh,
important.
uh,
Trust yourself. Good point. More important. Trust yourself and trust the universe. Together, you are a hellified team. I mean,
right.
nobody can beat you on that. So, I guess until next month, we're going to say bye and
Bye and happy Halloween.
happy Halloween. Do with it what you will, and you keep on. Don't be afraid of change. Just get out there and do it. And
Right.
the rewards
Create
are
change. You'll
outrageous.
love
Yeah,
it.
the rewards are outrageous. All right. See you,
Okay.
Terry.
Bye. See you, Laurie.
Bye.
Bye.